Just very simply, a really easy buying atmosphere you can say, just for starters, is something to the effect of this. Like, hey, I'm going to show you your options and see, which company might be the cheapest for you. If there's anything that catches your eye and that appeals to you, awesome. I'll help you do an application. And if at the same time, if not, I won't lose sleep over it.
From our door-to-door book selling experience, they told us, hey, the closing step, you should memorize the whole sales talk word for word. But the closing steps, they made us memorize it word for word for word. We would get in line, kind of like, and when you mess up a word, you would go to the back of the line. Go to the back of the line. We would do that for a couple hours until the close was word for word. All right, everybody, good morning. Good morning. This is Pedro Vega. Welcome to our Cardinal Senior Benefits Morning Pursuit Call. Here at Cardinal, we promote peace of mind. We begin again, and we pursue excellence. We do that a bunch of different ways, mainly by controlling what we can control with our effort and by being intentional with our attitude. We do our best to choose and cultivate a positive attitude of service and perspective. We know that whenever we're thinking biggest picture, we tend to win. Nothing is really a big deal, right? It's all how we choose to look at it. And guys, I'm so thankful. I'm filled with gratitude. Just had a great weekend. This past Friday, I got to be in Georgia at the Senior Select Conference. We're part of a national distribution channel, and you guys represented very, very well. Cardinal, our producers did an excellent job this past year. Obviously, we knew that it was a big bounce back year from the previous year, but just got to give some huge shout outs. So out of, I'd say at least a couple thousand agents at Cardinal, we had the number one agent, Lucas Holloman, 591,000 in issue paid production. So premium that made its first payment, that it's a new record. Okay. New record from an organization that's been around, a couple decades now, in terms of just distribution. So that's incredible. Nathan Alberts, with 566,000 in annual premium issue paid. Okay. Both of those would have been a new record, so just shattering what happened the year before. So that's incredible. Also, massive year as well with Gianna Francis, 439,000 issue paid. Okay, so that was number 4 out of a couple thousand. That's phenomenal. Shout out to Robert Dykes as well, number 15 with 294,000 issue paid. So that was great. Now, as an organization, we were number 2. So very proud of y'all's production. There, we were just very, very close, like 300,000 in premium from being number 1 overall as a group, and that would have been 5 years in a row. Okay, so we were actually number 1 4 years in a row, very, very close to 5, but that's okay. It's good to have extra motivation, and very, very proud of my mentor Frank. They just massive year, and man. Great time to be associated with like-minded individuals that are, pursuing big goals and excited to do big things. So you guys have made an impact on a ton of people, whether you realize, obviously we serve our clients, we impact each other, but even across Senior Select, just the yes leads, we've, at this point, 95% of our production is all through the yes leads, and it's been you guys iterating with it, learning how to get the most out of it. And obviously that road doesn't end, but it was the talk of the conference. There's tons of people across, guys, there were lots of agents saying, hey, I'm thankful for the yes leads, lots of questions about it. And, that wouldn't really have happened if we didn't have internal conviction and knowledge of how those leads work, because, leads are livelihood, and, trying something new is pretty scary, but there's a bunch of people that just had huge years last year working those yes leads. And a lot of that came from the credibility of our organization. They've seen us achieve and compete at a high level for many years, and they heard that a lot of our production was through that. So give them the confidence to try it. So I want to thank you guys for that. It's just, I don't know, it was a cool moment at the meeting. All right, so let's try this out. Trevor, if you want to unmute, or maybe I'll unmute you.
Hey, good morning.
Dude, it's working. There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Finally.
Trying something new. You're like, okay, let's see how it goes, and then you're like, oh. But anyways, excited to have you on. we tried covering this a little bit last week, but then we got cut off because of the service. It looks great. So, if you're new, checking out Cardinal for the first time, I'm really excited for you to hear Mr. Trevor Gritton. This guy is a seasoned salesperson, came from door to door, has worked really hard. He's worked all types of leads. He worked some of the toughest leads we've worked, and still had an excellent start. And this is a guy that just finds a way. He's got a great attitude as well. Just a great attitude. So I'm thankful to have him on today. You know, um, Trevor, sorry, I'm gonna tee this up a little bit. Straight commission sales. It's a difficult journey, but it's worth it. Some of the biggest reasons people fail in sales, it's really three things. Number one, they don't listen. Anytime you go into straight commission sales, there is a system. And if you follow to the T, you'll do great. But people don't listen. Number two, the other reason they don't they don't work out is they're focused on selling versus being focused on a system. And the third reason people fail in sales is that they don't have any vision. They don't have proper perspective for the difficult parts of the job, right? They have zero perspective. They're just focused on how bad they are right now. They don't understand how things can get better. But Trevor does a great job at the opposite of all those things. So, man, I'd love to have you share a little bit about what you were talking about last week with buying atmosphere. And maybe just give me your stats real quick on the past week because they didn't pop up. But it was, if you want to learn how to have a $10,000 week, that's what Mr. Gretton just did. So I'll pass it over to you, Mr. Trevor Gritton.
Just coming back with the stats. I don't know how they didn't go in.
Yeah, so let's start off with that. So some of the numbers from this past week.
Yeah, 38 and a half hours in the field,
Nice.
29 appointments, 2 no-shows, 2 door kills, 23 sit-downs, but 13 presentations, 10 applications,
Nice.
7,400 of AP from appointments, 600 AP off a reschedule. Um, yeah, some book management, AP 1,032. Uh, and then, yeah, my first referral. I just started doing the script you were talking about. And yeah, it worked out 1 for 1 on referrals. And then I'm going to get the husband this morning.
Nice. So tell us a little bit about what you were talking about, just with this topic of buying atmosphere. You texted me being like, "Hey, man, I feel like it's working really well, but let's just take a step back and just talk about again what it actually is, and then how you've been doing it recently. It's helped you be so effective."
Yeah, just super simply because I was a little scatterbrained last time. Just very simply, a really easy buying atmosphere you can say, just for starters, is something to the effect of this. Like, hey, I'm going to show you your options and see, which company might be the cheapest for you. If there's anything that catches your eye and that appeals to you, awesome. I'll help you do an application. And if at the same time, if not, I won't lose sleep over it. You're letting them know that obviously it's okay to buy, but at the same time, it's equally as okay to say no. So that's just the baseline, very simple way to say your buying atmosphere. But more in depth of what it is, yeah, it's really important that you make a prospect feel like it's all right to say no. Because if they're not comfortable telling you no, it's way less likely that they're going to say yes. They have to feel like it's all right to tell you no. Um, and then what got cut off from last time is the buying atmosphere I've been using. Now, back in the book business, Southwestern Advantage, we'd say it at the same exact point in the sales talk every single time. I've found that in final expense, whenever the pressure in the room is building up, just go ahead and insert a little one. And it doesn't have to be one big formal buying atmosphere. You can insert them here and there whenever you're starting to feel some pressure. Because as the agent, if you can feel pressure, they probably feel it, 3 to 5 times more.
Mm.
So now that that's said, what I've been saying is something to the effect of this. And I have been in straight commission for 8 years now. So I would say, uh, and it's funny. I mean, between the book business and Cardinal, I'm right at 2,000 families served. So I'll say, hey, look, and it's the tone so important too. You can't be like in their face and leaning forward and direct.
Mm.
I just kind of lay back and tilt my head like this. I'm like, hey, look, I've I've been doing this for a while now, like actually 8 years. And, I've been able to help like 2,000 families at this point. The thing is, I always have, and I always will lead the horse to water. Now I lean forward and I used to take the horse's head and dunk it in the water, and they always laugh. I use that time to sit back, and once they're done laughing, and I say, but the thing is, nowadays, I try to be as laid back as I can. I'm just here to give you ideas and give you some guidance, but you know what's best for you and your family. And I'll look them in the eye and I'll shake my head for a couple seconds. And they can feel that. There's a laugh in there, there's an analogy they understand. You're here to give them guidance and ideas and advice, like a counselor, you're an advisor to them. Uh, and then it's emotional at the end. You know what's best for you and your family. I will say something like that whenever I am usually about to try to drop a hard truth and bring some logic into the situation. I'll use it either there or when I'm reclosing. You show them option A, B, and C on your iPad. You've pulled up the carrier that's going to be the cheapest for them. You have option A, B, and C. You show them the options and you say something like Nate Alberts does, like, you look at the price. Yeah, is that kind of around what you were expecting or kind of a surprise? Okay, cool. Well, I mean, you know your situation better than I do. What do you think would make most sense? Any type of objection there, you can also listen, 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 agree, 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 agree. And before you share your perspective, that would also be another really great time to drop a buying atmosphere in. Because if you can make them know and feel, sales is a transference of feelings. It's 20% what you say, 80% how you say it and how you make them feel. You can make them feel like it's all right to say no. Man, you can. I've said some not racy stuff. I've said some pretty out there stuff after my buying atmosphere these last couple weeks. And I've just felt it landing so much better because I'm taking the pressure off. And I'm just there to give ideas.
I like that. We'll probably go through that again just without the explanation to kind of better catch the flow.
Yeah,
But,
sure.
yeah, if you've never heard the phrase "buying atmosphere," it's really simple. Again, most people don't like being sold, right? But we all
Uh-huh.
love to buy stuff. We love buying stuff, and we're buying stuff that we want. We're buying stuff, because we have the freedom. Like, there's no pressure. And, you know, simple question, why do you think agents or salespeople pressure people? It's usually because they are under pressure to pay the
Mm.
bills.
Mm.
It's
Yeah.
like you're talking about transfer of emotion and momentum. A lot of salespeople, they're pressured. They're under pressure trying to make sales, and they're trying to squeeze as much as they can out of every opportunity. Not the best way. So this basic idea, if you like it, great. If not, no big deal. No big deal. Like, listen, I see a lot of people. I've served a lot of people, and I'm going to be just fine either way. I want to make sure this is going to be the best thing for your family. There's 100 different ways to do a buying atmosphere, but the way for your buying atmosphere to be authentic, how authentic your buying atmosphere is tied to how authentic your work ethic is. Your buying atmosphere is grounded in activity, and you need to have a system, a weekly system for activity that you can transfer that pressure. You want to take the pressure off your client and put it onto a system. And when you are the more surrendered you are to a system, that, hey, I don't care the order at which I have my sales. I just know I consistently have sales. I don't care about the order anymore because I have a system. If I have a system, then I can transfer the pressure off of trying to pay my bills onto that activity, and definitely don't want to put it on our clients. And then buying atmospheres can be an art. Like what you're describing is an art right now, Trevor. It's hilarious. I'd love to see it in person. But yeah, let's go through that again, just without the explanation to kind of get the general flow of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, I've been doing this for a while now, about 8 years. And, luckily I've been able to help about 2,000 families. The thing is, I always have and I always will lead the horse to water. Duh. Now, I used to take the horse's head and dunk it in the water, but nowadays I try to be as laid back as I can. Like, I'm just here to give guidance and some ideas, but at the end of the day, you know what's best for you and your family, right? Yeah, and then you just go back into it.
Yep. So you're doing that. So again, this is a specific moment to slow down before you're showing them
Mhm,
numbers, before you're showing them pricing.
mhm.
Um, but there's again, like you mentioned, you can kind of take the pressure off wherever you feel like there is pressure. And just making it light. One thing that's true, guys, we have so many leads. I think that's part of Nate Albert's buying atmospheres. He'll literally like pull up the sheets of paper, be like, "Look at, I got so many people I have to get to. So, Ms. Betty, if it's not a fit for you, it's totally fine. I mean, I got a bunch of folks I got to sit down with. There's so many ways to do that. That it's again, it's equally okay to tell you no than it is to say yes. So you want to practice that, guys. I love that you mentioned being laying back. Kind of like leaning back a little bit. It reminds me of the closing steps. Okay, from our door-to-door book selling experience, they told us, hey, the closing step, you should memorize the whole sales talk word for word. But the closing steps, they made us memorize it word for word for word. We would get in line, kind of like, and when you mess up a word, you would go to the back of the line. Go to the back of the line. We would do that for a couple hours until the close was word for word. And then the person that taught me, he literally, obviously, we would sell in living rooms and stuff like that. He would like sit on the ground, almost lean all the way down, like he's almost laying down, and be like, Miss Jones, what everybody likes about the way I do business. And it was almost a game of like how slowly you could say the closing steps to the point where they're just like waiting on every word. He's like, dude, you want to do like you're almost like falling asleep. That's how relaxed you are. And obviously he was exaggerating, but that's what you were reminding me of. Um, which is again, you are totally not nervous. That's the other aspect of it. The next layer of buying atmosphere is like, you know what you're saying so well. And you do, obviously, this little line that you have, you've practiced it. You're not just the words, but you've practiced how you're saying it. The last thing you're thinking about is like, "Oh my gosh, I hope they buy." You're at the point where you're enjoying how you're saying things, which is a really cool place to be. It really is. Um, but anyways, thank you for sharing that, Trevor. I'd like to switch gears to just the gift card. Guys, I've been talking about the fact that we've done the gift card improperly. Obviously, we're making a shift so that everyone has skin in the game with giving that gift card. The most important thing we need to do well across the entire organization now is, hey, if you got them a qualified quote, we want to deliver that promise kept of that gift card at the end of the sale, either with a physical gift card or Walmart has a digital way where they get it instantly. They get an email with a barcode. It's super easy. You can show them that barcode. But you want to deliver that at the very end of the sale. I want to point everyone to the school platform or school module 5 that has all our scripts for the yes leads. I've added a referral script into that this morning. So if you want to check it out, it's right in there. It's super easy. You're packing things up. You're saying, hey, Miss Betty, gosh, I almost forgot. I got you a qualified quote today. So I got a gift card for you. Pull out that gift card. Start writing out her name. Miss Betty, if there's anyone in your circle, family, friend that you think I should maybe talk to about something like this, listen, if I can get them a qualified quote, just like I did for you today, look, I'm more than happy to give them a gift card, and I'm more than happy to give you another gift card. And that's when you physically give it to them. Guys, if you do that the right way, you're going to see some facial, reactions to that. And then you're going to get some business. So, yeah, Trevor, I'd love to hear a little bit about your story of how that's gone and, maybe how it's compared to how you've done it in the past, what you're excited about going forward with it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the most important part is literally just saying every single time you do it what Pedro just said. It reminds me of back in the book business with Facebook. We would turn Facebook into a referral tool. It was awesome. I never did it my first 3 summers. Never.
Hmm.
At the Sunday meeting, like week one or week two, the organizational leader had hit more. That's like a really high level. It's like 10,000 almost, 10,000 in AP,
Yeah.
one of those deals. And that was the part he gave on Facebook, just like Pedro had talked about the gift card. There was something he said that has stuck with me forever, and it applies to the gift card too. It's almost like a little Alex Hormozy quote as well. Confidence is just a big stack of evidence. The thing is, though, is
Mm.
you're never going to get confidence until you get your first piece of evidence. That second part is what he'd said that stuck. And I remember I tried it just the next week. And I'm like, oh, that wasn't hard at all.
You said that, evidence is just a bunch of confidence, bunch of stacked evidence is what you shared. And well, I do know this. You texted me, you're saying you got your first referral sale. So that's just barely doing it for like 1 week. And when he went back, he was telling me like it was super warm and that referral sale was pretty fast from what I hear. And he says, I got another one for you. You know, Trevor, you want to say something again? See if I can hear you.
I did exactly what Pedro had said, same script as closely as I could follow it. And he said, "Oh yeah, I got two right here for you." And they were in the other room. It was his daughter and his son-in-law. And yeah, and then I just kind of re-solidified it. I'm like, yeah, more than happy to give, you another 25 and then them a 25 as well. And in my head, I had kind of thought like, dude, you don't know how many times I've heard that. But no, I mean, she
Yep.
she hit she hit me up and yeah, she called me actually.
That's
Um
hilarious.
I know, and I told her over the phone, I'm like, "Yeah, this is really laid back. It's super easy. It just takes a few minutes. Set a time." Now, usually from start of the house to when I'm wrapped up, it takes an hour and a half. This one, I was back out to my car in an hour. So
Nice.
yeah, way more efficient, way warmer.
I love to hear
The
that, man.
retention will be higher too.
Awesome. Well, Trevor, thank you for sharing, man. Like always, I appreciate you more than I appreciate your example. It's gonna be a big year ahead. I know you got some huge goals, and I think
Just
these
getting started,
these
man.
little things are gonna make a big difference for profitability, not just for you, for a bunch of our agents. So thank you for sharing today.
Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate you having me. See ya.
Yeah. So it was breaking up there for a little bit, but he mentioned that he had heard this a bunch of times, but then he actually did it. Trevor's very methodical. He said he just used that script. Notice he said she called him. I've said that a bunch of times, guys, and again, I'm gonna keep saying it. The premium that I got from this, guys, it was uninitiated. Like, besides the words I shared, they called me back, you know? And I think that's it's really simple because look, leads historically have made us very lazy when it comes to referrals because we got leads every week, week after week after week. And in the traditional sense, referrals turn into like, every way I had heard about referrals before, it was like an extra 10 or 15 minutes after the sale. And, I'm trying to get to more people. I'm trying to scratch off more leads, all that kind of stuff, right? But I think there's this such an effective loop with the fact that the reward is real, right? They saw a real ad about this $25 gift card, qualified quote. A real person came, got a real conversation, you filled a real need. Um, you know, they got a real gift card. Now you got a real relationship, and now you got this lead generator. That's really what they are. They're like, you are the real deal. Our client's been ripped off so many times. So I use this analogy because it's to me, it's a business no-brainer if you're doing this the right way. Again, after they got their qualified quote, they got their 25 bucks, everyone's happy. Okay, but the next stage, if the circle worked, it'd be 50 bucks, right? 25 bucks for the new sale, basically, 25 bucks for the person that referred you. So that's 50 bucks. So again, if you had a machine, you put 50 bucks into that machine, and the machine is giving you a $300 to $500 direct deposit. How many times would you be putting that 50 bucks into that machine? I'd say over and over and over and over. Guys, that's just business no brainer. I was talking to Nate about incorporating this. Nate works direct mail, and I think it works just as well on the direct mail side. Just pure icing on the cake. They never heard about a gift card at all. You know, like again, and Hermosi talked about this a lot too. Just the whole gift to get. Like, imagine, this is a client that you're hoping to serve for life. Imagine just surprising them with the gift card at the very end and using that exact same script. You know, if you do those words the way I said it, there's no doubt in my mind. You give out 100 of those. That's $2,500. That $2,500 should turn into like 25 to $30,000 in direct deposit. I have such high conviction in that. If you do that, you will see it. You will see it. And that's just extra profit. I mean, it's just, it's a no brainer. So anyways, we'll wrap up there, guys. Thank you so much for being with me today. Keep it simple. Thank you for how you're serving those out there. Remember, it takes all day to have a great day, all week to have a great week. Any given house will double or triple your week. It can do that. It happens all the time. Might as well be you. So remember, don't think, just work, right? Just keep it simple. Work is either with Miss Jones or directly on the way to see Miss Jones. Action cures fear. The answer's behind the next door. No time's a good time. Right now's the best time. Screw it. Just do it. Just keep on moving. All right, guys. You have a great day. God bless. Catch you guys tomorrow morning. Thank you very much.